Yo, what's up, guys? It's Pedro here, and we have Juan Gotti here. Make sure you guys check out his channel. I'll put the link in the chat in a little bit. Great Washington football team YouTuber. And in today's stream, we're going to be previewing the game, looking over the injury report, doing the stat predictions like we always do. And at the end of the, stream, if we have time, we're going to do some maybe a mock draft. So let me go ahead and put Juan's link in the description. A lot of you guys already know Juan, but make sure you guys check him out. Okay, there's his link. Make sure you guys check him out. And then, yeah, we'll go through the injury report real quick. What's up, Hassan? What's up, King Sean? What's up, Asid? What's up, Valor? What's up, everybody? Okay, so Juan, you want to say anything? What's up, Scotty? So let's go ahead and look at the injury report. Anything that stands out to you on?
No, not really. All the injuries that that we knew about, I expected them to not play. Like Jerron Christian, obviously he's on IR. Cornelius Lucas is dealing with an ankle injury. I feel like we're gonna have him back probably next week, but not the Cowboys game because that's a short week. Probably the game, I believe. Who's after the Cowboys? I think it's the Pittsburgh, I believe. I don't know. I think it's Pittsburgh or the 49ers.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, so we should have him back for the Pittsburgh game. I believe so, but if not, then he should have been on IR because that's three. I think that would be 3 or 4 weeks by that time. So we should have just put him on IR. Jared Norris, we don't really, care about him. I'm sorry to say, he's just a special teams guy. And same for Ryan Anderson. Kind of digs in our linebacker depth, but we really haven't used him as much as we used them under the previous regime. He was really a special teams kind of guy. So Cornelius Lucas and Jerron Christian are the two, hits. Yeah, we're getting Dontre Emmett back too, and Isaiah Wright has an illness and he didn't practice yesterday, so maybe he'll play tomorrow, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I agree. What's up, iOS Stone Point? What's up, Dreon? What's up, Scotty? What's up, Dick Quavis? What's up, Infinite? And yeah, I agree. One thing also, DeShazier Everett, he's out. I think that's a big hit ish. I think I can't remember the guy's name that we signed today from our from our practice squad. We signed a safety to a 2-year deal. I'll pull it up after we go through the injury report. And apparently he's going to get some playing time tomorrow. That's going to be interesting to see, how that works out. And the thing that's kind of disappointing a little bit is if Eric Reed would have taken that practice squad spot, he would be playing this week. He would be playing, no doubt. He would be starting this week. So that's unfortunate. Let's go through any other. Let's see. Yeah, Ryan Anderson out. He really hasn't been doing much. Probably means Ryan Kerrigan will get a few extra snaps, just get those extra snaps that Ryan Anderson usually gets. Jerron Christian out for 2 more weeks after this one. Everett will see. Both him and Cornelius Lucas both didn't practice at all, so it's not looking good necessarily for their status this week, or no, next week against the Cowboys on Thursday. Dontrell Inman, he's questionable. I mean, not that big of a boost. I mean, I think Isaiah Wright and Cam Sims, I'd rather have them than Dontrell Inman. And Nick Sundberg, he's questionable, but, he has an illness. He's going to play. He's going to play. And then on the Bengals side, nothing big besides Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, one of the better running backs in the league. He is out, so that's a huge boost to us. Appreciate Scotty the 3 pounds. I appreciate, man. Who comes in at safety? So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I'll pull up the guy that we did sign from the practice squad in a bit, but if it's not him, I mean, Cameron Curl obviously is going to start at safety, but then after that, it could be Troy Apke. We could see some Jeremy Reeves and that other guy, something Cole, something like that. Who do you think is going to be? What do you think the safety rotation is going to look like, Juan?
Yeah, I pretty much on page with you here. I think everyone has started with obviously Cameron Curl starting at free safety, then strong safety, or will be the new guy that we just signed, like you said. And I think that the actual starter is going to be unfortunately Troy Apke. A lot of people don't want him to start, including me. He really got his chance to prove himself, and Ron was really more lenient with him than he was with Haskins. So I'm really, on the fence about actually starting, but that's why I'm like you said, if Reed would have just took the practice squad spot and swallowed his pride, he would be starting right now. But we're going to take a chance on the new guy that we just signed. But the safety rotation, I see it being Cameron Curl, Troy Ackley.
Yeah. Again, appreciate the donation, man. Thanks for always coming in. Scotty's the man. And yeah, I agree. And the guy, I'll read it right here. The guy's name is Cole Luke. He has corner and free safety experience, offers flexibility. One reason they did not go back to Eric Reed earlier this week because he plays strong safety. They like Cameron Curl there. He's doing well. That's what John Kime said. And so, yeah, we'll see how this guy does. And I think that, if the safety play that we get from, Cole Luke, Jeremy Reeves, Troy Apke, if it's not great, then I would expect, Ron Rivera because we pretty much have like a mini bye week after the Cowboys game. So you're going to be able to sign a guy and get him acclimated to the system. Maybe you could see Eric Reed, Tony Jefferson, Rashad Jones, any of those guys, we could maybe sign them if these guys don't end up, doing, if they end up doing all right, I think we'll stick with them. Okay, so like I said earlier, Joe Mixon out. That's pretty big news. We've had a little bit trouble stopping the run. Giovanni Bernard, sorry, is all right, but I think we'll be able to stop him. Alex Redmond, one of their guards, he's questionable. Xavier Williams is questionable. Mike Thomas is questionable. Margus Hunt is questionable, and then Fred Johnson. So besides Joe Mixon, they really don't have anyone big out. I would say we probably have a little bit more injuries just because it might not be big names, but Cornelius Lucas, we're down to our fourth string tackle because Juron Christian is out. You got Sadiq Charles is out for the season, and now you're down to and Cornelius Lucas is out. So we'll see what David Sharp does at right tackle. What are you expecting from our offensive line this week against the Bengals? The Bengals don't have that great of a pass rush, but still, I mean, the O line's looking a little shaky.
Yeah, man. Like I said, offensive line is really going to be shaky, and that's really what I'm going to be paying attention to the most because David Sharp, he didn't. After looking at the all 22, he wasn't as bad as everyone making him saying no. Nevertheless, he's not a starting caliber tackle in the league, especially left tackle. That is, he filled in for Cornelius Lucas when he went down, but he wasn't as bad as we thought. And maybe him switching to right tackle was better. But Morgan Moses, man, before I even get into Morgan Moses and the left tackle position, because although they didn't come out and say that he was playing left tackle, we can all assume that he's going to play left tackle. Because Ron Rivera, I don't know if you guys know, but he was high. He was basically hiding it all because if he was playing right tackle, Morgan Moses, that is, he would have just came out and said, "Oh no, Morgan is playing right tackle." But they kind of kept it under wraps. But we're pretty sure that he's going to play right tackle tomorrow, left tackle, that is. And him moving from right to left is a little bit of a challenge, but he kind of did well in the Detroit game. And I'm thinking with all weeks of practice, I think he'll be pretty much fine. My biggest concern is going to be that right side with David Sharp.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the thing is, like, if you look at Wes Schweitzer when he came in against the Cardinals, he didn't play that great. And I think that's partly because he just got thrown in there in the middle of the game, didn't really get to prepare that much. I mean, it's a big difference between preparing as the backup and because he's a guy that can play left or right guard, so he's going to prepare for two different positions, two different guys he's going up against, so it's totally different. And I think this game for David Sharp, having a full week to prepare at right tackle or wherever he plays, if he doesn't play at right tackle, I think that'll help him out a little bit. And I think Brandon Sheriff is going to be able to help him out a little bit too at that right guard position. So no other really big injuries on both sides. Like I said earlier, we'll check on Isaiah Wright, Nick Sundberg. Dontrell Inman and Dustin Hopkins tomorrow, but I really expect almost all of those guys to play. Maybe Dontrell Inman doesn't play, but besides that, everyone else looks like they're good to go. So now let's go ahead and do our, preview. I mean, we both made preview videos on our channel, but we're kind of going to talk about some, keys to victory, what we need to do to win this game, and then we'll go through a score prediction and then some stat predictions. So I'll go ahead and say the biggest thing we need to do, not the biggest thing, but I think one of the keys to victory is we got to get our run game and our running backs in general going. In my video, I said I need to get 150 plus yards combined from McKissick and Gibson, not just running, but pass catching too. If we get 150 plus, I think that'll be good for us. We got to get Gibson involved a little bit more in the pass game. I'm liking what I'm seeing from McKissick, but I don't need to see 29 targets in 2 games. Give a couple of those to Gibson and, get some more rushes in. I think that's a big deal. We got to get our running backs involved because, besides McLaurin, those two are probably our best players.
Yeah, like you said. Now, yeah, I know a lot of people want to see Antonio Gibson a lot, but Ron Rivera, when the season first started, or even in training camp, rather, he said this running back room was going to be a running back by committee, and whoever has the high hand is going to be the one getting the bulk of the carries. I don't have a problem with J.D. McKissick, getting the ball a lot, especially with his ability to run and catch out the backfield and be able to split out wide. So I don't have a problem. Me personally, don't have a problem with J.D. McKissick, being the lead back if he's, in that specific game is carrying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Antonio Gibson had 2 touchdowns last week, but he didn't really kill them on the ground. Those were really short yardage touchdowns. J.D. McKissick, on the other hand, yeah, he didn't really kill them either, but his runs were, for 9 here, 10 there. And I'm not even just talking about the Lions game. I'm just saying in general. So it's a running back by committee. Whoever has the hot hand at the moment, that's who I'm rolling with. That's why I don't really have a problem with J.D. McKissick being, the hot guy or the main guy for that specific game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I just think they need to, because I think McKissick is a way better route runner than Gibson because he always gets open and, he usually gets like 6, 7 yards. But the thing with Gibson, I think if they can get him open and get blockers in front of him, I think he's better after the catch than McKissick. So I think not necessarily get Gibson more or even close to more targets than McKissick, but when you do give him targets, make sure you're, playing to his advantage because he's real. When he gets the ball in open space, he usually breaks a tackle and gets some extra yards. McKissick usually turns a 3 to 4 yard catch into an 8 yard catch, but he hasn't really had a big play this year. So another key to victory. Let's see. You want to go?
Yeah, bro. A big key to victory for me was stopping the run so we can pin our ears back and get out to Joe Burrow. But actually, I won't even go with that key. My key is to make Joe Burrow live up to what he wants to be. Let's just be honest. Joe Burrow is, what he was hyped up to be. This guy's generational talent. The best quarterback that came out of college in a while. You know what I'm saying? And actually lived up to the hype. So, we got to make him live up to that. And what I mean by that is sometimes Joe Burrow, I don't know if you guys watch him a lot, but sometimes he tries to live up to that too much. And what I mean by that is he reminds me, and like I said in my video, he reminds me of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a phenomenal quarterback. He's just having a bad year, and that happens. You know what I'm saying? That happens. And with Carson Wentz, that I see out of Joe Burrow a lot is they live up to that. They live up to that being the guy and trying to make every play count, that they live up to it so much to the point where they literally try to make every play count, and that sometimes is good and sometimes more than not bad. And what I mean by that is Joe Burrow and Carson Wentz, they tend to force plays where they could have either just took the sack that probably would have only lost like 3 yards or threw it away to live to fight another down. Instead, they threw an interception and try to force it. That's what I see out of Joe Burrow and Carson Wentz. That's why I compare them a lot, because they both have the same dog mentality, which isn't bad, but sometimes you got to know when to just say, all right, the defense won this play. But that's just they don't get that, and that's Carson Wentz and Joe Burrow. So what the key to victory for us is we got to force him to do that. You know what I'm saying? We got to force him to throw it in double coverage and try to make every play count, because then that's where he messes up. And then also I can say this: we gotta stop the run so we can pin our ears back on third down. But when we don't stop the run, that's when we get killed. And for these past couple weeks, you've seen that.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of to add on to that, I think we need to, at the very minimum, force one turnover this game. We got because I mean, the last week against Detroit, we didn't force a single turnover, and the week against the Giants, against Daniel Fumbles, we didn't force any turnovers at all. So I mean, and we haven't in those two games, we really didn't get many sacks either. So we're going to have to get to the quarterback, maybe force a fumble there or get an interception. I mean, we just have to do that because not only does that take away points from them, but it also gets the offense who has been moving, it gets them an opportunity to score. So we got to force a turnover. We really haven't done that this year at all. And if you look at Joe Burrow's stats, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So he does, 5 interceptions isn't crazy, but it is, I think we can force an interception or two, at least get one turnover. I mean, at least one. I think that's a huge reason why we haven't been winning these last couple games. And, also because we've been turning the ball over on offense. So I mean, this is the most obvious one, but you got to win the turnover battle. And Infinite, I appreciate so much the $10 donation. Put Gibson in the slot. Yeah, I agree. Get him a little bit more involved in the pass game because when you're not giving him the ball in the run game, he did get a lot of big plays in college. So yeah, I agree. Get Gibson involved a little bit more. He's been solid, but I think he still needs to improve in the run game a little bit more, his vision, but I still think he's going to end up good. What do you think about Gibson? What do you think about the way they're using him? What do you think how we should be using him?
Yeah, with Gibson, I think we're using him right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, coming out of college, don't get me wrong, Memphis, he was majority of a wide receiver, but here in the NFL, that's not gonna really rock. You know what I'm saying? In Memphis, you were going up against, not so much talent. Yeah, because I don't remember what conference Memphis is in off the top of my head right now. I can't remember. But their talent isn't as good as the NFL. So yeah, we need to do a good job of getting them open, put them in a slide, and let them, work. But at the same time, maybe in the NFL, he's just made to be a running back. And quite frankly, I like Gibson being just a running back. And why not put him in a slide, though? I see what we're saying here. Put him in the slide and let him be, versatile. But at the same time, that's what we got J.D. McKissick for. But
Yeah, I think
my bad.
Gibson, I would, give him on some crossing routes because then he's open and he's in open field. McKissick is just great at getting those, making those tough routes and getting those, critical 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. You want McKissick on the field because he can run that small route and it might not be a bunch of yards, but he gets you that first down. And that is super, super important. So, I mean, I love both of these guys. And I think with next year, especially with the full offseason, I think they're going to be even better. And I like this running back core. I really don't think we need to do much else with it next year. It would be a nice boost if Bryce Love could play, but we'll see about that. Let me read this. I appreciate Town Hall, the donation, man. Really appreciate it. Hello, Juan and Pedro. It sucks that we have injuries on the O line and the D line. I hope Cole Luke will start at free safety tomorrow, and I hope the secondary must step up, and we need to pressure the QB. Yeah, I agree. We got to get some turnovers or at least force pressure for some, bad throws. And we'll see about Cole Luke. I think maybe he starts. I think they'll probably start out with, Troy Apke or Jeremy Reeves. But at the same time, they put in Troy Apke at the end of last game, and they really probably didn't like what they saw. And that's part of the reason why they called up this guy, Cole Luke. So we'll see about that. I think he's definitely going to get some playing time. And yeah, I agree. Our secondary has to step up because they are the number one quote unquote secondary in the NFL. But part of that is because of our D line, because our D line is forcing the quarterbacks to throw really, really quick. So I think it's like the last few weeks it's been like 2.25 seconds that they've been throwing, and that's because of our D line. And our secondary's got to make some plays. Again, appreciate the donation, man. Always coming in here. What do you think about this? Is off topic, but what do you think about Bryce Love? What do you think his future is in DC?
Um, honestly, I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear this, but of course, I want Bryce Love to be here, and I'm a fan of Bryce Love. And keeping that small hope that he actually pans out here. But this guy is about to miss his second year in a row, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be mad if we moved on from him. And it's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? Every time we see that glamour of hope and positive saying, oh, Bryce Love is about to come, next thing you know, we hear, oh, his knee is swelling up again, and that's not good. So it's not his fault. He has no control over it, and I really want him to pan out. But it's like every time we get that hope, his knee starts swelling up again. That's what we hear every time. And it just sucks for him because his last game at Stanford, he tore his ACL, and now he's still dealing with that, 2 years later, and he's about to miss his second year in a row. And I just don't know if we want to wait any longer. But if we do, fine, because he's on a rookie deal. He's not chewing up too much money. And then secondly, if we move on from him, okay, sorry, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Your knee.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. What I would say with Love is something similar kind of happened to Kendall Fuller is that I think he tore his ACL at VTech in his sophomore year. And sure, the recovery time for the ACL is, 6 to 8 months, but not everyone is Adrian Peterson and can come back to 100% in 1 year. It took Kendall Fuller 2+ years to fully get back to himself. He wasn't that good here in his rookie year. He really and that's part of the reason why is because of the ACL. So what I would say with Bryce is that I think he's going to be competing for a roster spot in training camp. I'm not in the place where I want to move on from him. What I'll say is keep him on the roster, bring him to training camp. And if he's still at this point doesn't look like the guy he was or doesn't even look close to the guy he was, then I would probably cut him unless you don't have any better options. But that's how I'm feeling. I still am giving him a chance because some guys just don't recover from injuries the same as others. So that's why I'm saying, give him some time. But at the same time, he could be off the roster next year. We'll see about that. But he was crazy good in Stanford. Especially with Bruce Allen, we kept on drafting these, guys that really had really good promise, really good talent, but were injury prone and injured. Talon Ho, another $5 donation. I want to win this game tomorrow, and I don't want to see Juan and every Washington football team fan get mad again like last week. Hey, I agree. I mean, I was really really upset about that game. That was terrible. And if we win this game tomorrow and the Eagles lose, we're again in this NFC East chase. And again, if we win this game and then we play the Cowboys on Thursday, so that would put us at 4 wins. And realistically, I don't know about you, Juan, but I think 6 wins probably wins this division. What are you thinking? How many wins?
I'm thinking 7 only because I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I don't want to say it, but I love Joe Judge, man. He is such a good coach. And I know that sucks to say because I didn't want to say it myself, but you got to put your fandom aside for a second and just be a realist, man. Joe Judge is such a good coach. And I know the Giants only has 3 wins, and they really should only have 1. And that 1 win is who did they beat? I forgot who they beat.
Eagles.
I know they beat us twice. Yeah, they should have 2 wins. They should have swept the Eagles, and we should have swept them, honestly. So I know realistically they should have had only 2 wins. But now let's just get to the actual record, which is 3-7. I know they only have 3 wins, but they're really on the up, man. And honestly, Joe Judge is the reason for all of that, man. I really like Joe Judge, another guy from Bill Belichick's tree. And I really think that the Giants really have a chance to win this division, as do everyone else. But me personally, I think 7-9 wins this division. I don't think 6-10 does, because I feel like another team in this division is gonna get the best on one of us, because we beat up on each other and our best wins are from each other. And I see one of these teams, edging out the rest of the way.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I somewhat agree with you. I agree with you about Joe Judge. I really like Joe Judge. The reason why I don't think the Giants are going to win the division, if you look at their schedule, they play. So next, they're on their bye. So they have 3 wins right now. They play the Bengals. So they play the Bengals. That's a 50-50 game. I think they're going to win that. They can easily win that game, and they're going to be favored in that game. That's a game that they can win. Then they play the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they're not going to beat the Seahawks. They might keep it close. But I don't see them winning against the Seahawks. Then they play the Cardinals. Again, they keep a lot of games close, but I don't see that happening either. And then they play the Browns. That's another tough game. Maybe they could sneak that game. Then they play the Ravens. So, and then their last game of the season is the Cowboys. So they can win that, but that's still a really, really tough schedule. And I do not see them winning 4 of those games, because that means, let's say they beat the Bengals and they beat the Giants. They beat the Bengals and they beat the Cowboys. And that's not even a guarantee. That means they would have to win 2 out of these 3 games, or 4 games. Seahawks, Cardinals, Browns, and Ravens. So that's just why I think that it could be the Giants. I just don't think at 7 wins, because I think it's going to be very hard for them to win 2 of those games that I was talking about earlier. And then the Eagles also have a tough schedule. So we'll see. I was at that 7-9 spot for a long time. But right now, especially how the Eagles are playing, I think 6 wins could do it. We'll see about our schedule. I mean, it really comes down to this week. If we lose this week, there's almost 0 chance we make the playoffs, because I mean, we play the Cowboys, which again is a winnable game, but we say that every week, and it's we lose or we barely win, and then we play the after that, we play the Steelers. That's a loss. 49ers, who knows? But, that's a tough game. And then the Seahawks and Panthers and Eagles. So what do you think? I know that was a lot, but what do you think? Oh, real quick, iOS Stone Point, I appreciate the $2 donation. Yeah, Eagles' schedule is pretty hard, too. The whole NFC East schedule is hard remaining. Again, appreciate the donation. What do you think about our chances to win this division? I know we're 2 wins, but we're still at that spot. So what do you think? And shout out DMV Sports Zone. Go check them out.
Shout out to DMV Sports Zone. Yeah, man, like you said, and like I said, I like Joe Judge, and I said the Giants have a chance to win a division. I didn't say they will win a division, because honestly, I don't think they will. Honestly, I still think Philly will find a way to win this division, unfortunately. But yeah, man, we still have a good chance to win this division, and I think that we can still do it, because let's just be real. These last couple games have been heartbreakers. These last couple games have been one play in our favor, and we win those games, man. So honestly, guys, I know a lot of people don't want to win this division and don't think we will win this division, but don't be surprised if still the division comes down to week 17, Washington versus Philly, because like I said, the Giants are on the cusp of being better, and so are we. But at the same time, like Pedro read off to their schedule is hell, and ours is too. but they're really, more than ours. And yes, I know that they play the Saints most likely without Drew Brees, but still, they're still a great team. They play who else did you say they play? That was really Cardinals, and they also play Seattle like us, I believe too. So they really, and the Browns, I think. So they really have a hard schedule. So I won't count the Giants in as a win or yet, or as to win his division. But I think the most realistic chance for us to win is we have to win this week. We have to win next week. Quite frankly, essentially, we have to win the rest of these games. But the most realistic option, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling too long, but the most realistic option is Week 17, Philly versus Washington.
Sorry, I had that muted. And yeah, I agree. I mean, if we win one of these two or two of these two, it's really gonna come down to that Week 17 game against Philly. Real quick, let me read this. Iowa Stone Point again. Appreciate the donation. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I think we could win against the Steelers. I mean, I'm gonna have that as a loss, unless Big Ben isn't playing, and still probably gonna have that a loss. But that's the thing with the NFL is that any given Sunday, still think we're gonna lose that game. But they kept the game close against the Cowboys, so you never know. But I think that's probably gonna be a loss. Last question before we get into the stat predictions.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think? Would you rather? Actually, I'll answer this first, but what I'll say and the question for you to think about. What do you think? Would you rather win this division or get a better draft pick? And here's my thought, because I really am on the fence about this. This whole time I've been on the fence with this, and obviously, if we had Dwayne Haskins as our starting quarterback right now, and he was playing okay, the obvious choice would be win this division because we got our franchise quarterback, or a quarterback that's doing okay, has the potential to be your franchise quarterback, and that playoff experience would really help him and help him develop. But Dwayne didn't do good enough to remain the starter, and we are looking at a franchise quarterback. So I'm in the middle on this one, but at the same time, if you really are serious about changing the culture,
Mm-hmm.
getting to the playoffs absolutely does that. Absolutely does that. That changes the culture a lot faster than, bringing these coaches in, bringing these other players in. That switches the culture like this. If you're playing meaningful games these last few games of the season and you're playing the playoffs, that helps us out a lot. Sure, the draft pick, that would not help us out a lot. That would hurt us. But at the same time, if you look at this rookie if you look at this rookie quarterback class, you got obviously Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, you got Trey Lance, Kyle Trask, Mac Jones. I know I'm missing someone. You got a lot of guys there, so you might be able to trade up into the top 12 and get someone. King Sean says that makes no sense. You want to build for the future. That part of building for the future is changing the culture. And who doesn't want to see a playoff game? And I know it doesn't. You guys rather get a higher draft pick. And again, I'm still 50-50 on this one. I'm still 50-50 on this one. I get both sides of the story. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, like you said, man, I really want to win this division only because it builds, and not even just for Dwayne, to see, and not even if he was a starter, not just for him, but for this whole team. It lets them experience winning, and like a lot of people said, and including myself, continue John Allen and Terry McLaurin, even Dwayne Haskins, Chase Young, Deron Payne. I'll go on and on. Ryan Anderson, even Landon Collins, even that he's not even playing. But you get my point. Is when these guys was in college, Ohio State, Alabama have always been a top team in their respective conference, man. These are some guys that we're talking about that probably lost 3 games at the most in their 4 years at college, 4 to 3 years, or 4 to 3 years at college, man. I'm not talking about three games per year. I'm talking about within their tenure in college. That rounds out to possibly 1 to maybe even 0 losses per year at their tenure in their respective college, man. So, continuing 3-13s and stuff like that, it just doesn't sit well with them, and they're not going to want to be here. You know what I'm saying? My biggest fear is losing Terry McLaurin because he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. But my biggest fear is losing Terry McLaurin because he's our best player. He's been our best draft pick within these past couple years, man. So I really want to win this division to build culture. I don't care if we get blown out in the first round. At least they got to taste the, postseason. And who's the better guy to have going into the postseason if we do, in fact, get there, better than Alex Smith? Alex Smith, and I'll get into why I don't want us to tank for a draft pick. Matter of fact, I'll just get into that now. The reason why I don't want to tank for a draft pick is because we have Alex Smith. Alex Smith has been capable and showed us that he can still move around. Not as fast as he once was before the leg injury, but he showed us he's back. You know what I'm saying? So it's enough. We need to stop what is the word I'm looking for? Babying him and stop saying, oh, his leg. He showed us that he's, tough, man. He showed us that he's back. This is a guy that threw for almost 400 yards last week. So I feel comfortable enough with having Alex Smith for 2 years and possibly drafting our guy. We haven't been a team that has been able to draft a guy in the first round. So I wouldn't be, opposed to probably finding our quarterback in the third round, maybe this year or even 2022, man. So, I'm a fan of keeping Alex Smith around.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with, Alex, and I would be okay with keeping him, and I'll get to the donation in a sec, if he continues to do what he's done in these last couple weeks. Obviously, not necessarily throw for 350 yards, but if he continues to show he can run this offense, I would not be upset if we, drafted a quarterback in the first, second, third round, either of those, all those rounds, and had him sit behind Alex Smith for a few weeks, and depends on the quarterback, because I think someone like Justin Fields, I don't think he needs to sit behind Alex Smith, but maybe someone like Zach Wilson or Trey Lance, maybe they might need to sit behind a guy, and I think Alex Smith would be a perfect guy to sit behind. And Talon Host said, all right, $5 donation. If we're going to get a good draft pick like Trey Lance, we need to lose some games. I'm 50-50 as well. It's so hard to choose. Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as you. I would, it's for me, I would be okay with it either way. I'll be ecstatic if we win the division, and I'll also be okay if we end up, because we suck this year. If we end up with our franchise quarterback because of that, then it's totally worth it. If we end up with a guy that's a future Pro Bowler, maybe even all pro, because of our, how bad we've been this year, then it's totally worth it. But if we end up drafting a linebacker or whatever in the first round, it might be good, but I just don't. I'd rather have that playoff experience because, for that next time, let's say they make the playoffs this year, 6-10, lose in the first round, they know what to expect that next year or the year after they get in the playoffs. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Again, appreciate the donation. We've been talking about this for a while now, but let's get into the stat predictions real quick.
Hold on, before we get into that, we gotta address King Sean. He said that we're delusional because we want to still win this division. Now, I'm sorry, King Sean, but that's what comes with wanting to win and wanting to be a fan. We don't have that losing mentality over here. And let's just be honest: if we won this division, you telling me you wouldn't be happy that we won this division? We're not delusional. We're just being honest. We want to win this division, and who's to say with a team like us that doesn't have a good track record of drafting good quarterbacks in the first round? Who's to say that we need even a high draft pick to draft our guy in the first round? Who's to say De'Aaron King isn't our guy in the third, maybe even second round? So, and who's to even say with Alex Smith coming back healthy, who's to even say that he's our guy is in the 2021 draft class? Let's be real for a second. I'm sorry for rambling. We'll get to the stat prediction, but Alex Smith, you see how healthy he is now. You see that he's ready. If Alex Smith was what he is now in August, July, he would have been starter day one. Ron Rivera loves veterans and he loves Alex Smith. He would have been the starter day one. But since he wasn't healthy day one and now he is, you see what Alex Smith is capable of. And I don't want to hear that he's 36. Tom Brady is 43. And I'm not saying Alex Smith is a Tom Brady, but you get my point. So you can say that we're delusional because we want to win. Look at it like this, King Sean. It's a win-win either way for us. We get a high draft pick, we draft our guy, we're happy. We win a division, we're happy. And 7-9, that's still possibly a guaranteed 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10 draft pick. I'm done though. My bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, just because you have a top 5 pick doesn't mean you're gonna, draft the right guy. Sure, you have a better chance at it, but it's still not guaranteed. And it also depends on what Ron wants to do. Like, what's his thinking right now? Does he want to go after a quarterback in the draft? Does he want to go after a quarterback in free agency? Or does he want to do both? So I totally agree with you. Okay, now we're going to get to some stat predictions on the game. Another donation said, let Haskins sit behind Alex Smith for another year.
Exactly. My bad for cutting you off.
Go ahead.
But I was just thinking about this earlier. So we were last year and the year before that, or no, last year actually. We were like Dwayne Haskins. Oh, he gets to sit behind Alex Smith. But Alex Smith had a cast. He wasn't doing nothing for him. You know what I'm saying? All he was able to talk about it to Dwayne Haskins. Now he's actually able to show him. He's actually able to see Alex Smith prepare for a game. He's actually able to show him what he was trying to tell him last year. He probably in practice last year was trying to tell Dwayne, hey, you do this, you do this. But sometimes players, and even for myself, I learn better, and probably Dwayne too, I learn better when it's shown to me and it's shown how it's done. Some people doesn't work as good when it's all talk and they hear. They work better when it's shown to them. Alex Smith wasn't able to show it to Dwayne Haskins last year. Now this year he's able to show it to him. So who's to say Dwayne doesn't find his way this year and this offseason with Alex Smith possibly going into his last year here. And even if we do resign him, who's to say 2021 Alex Smith is a starter, then 2022 Dwayne Haskins finally gets his shine and finally gets him to be the team. Who does that sound like right quick, Pedro?
Wait, what did you say real quick? Sorry, I was reading the comments.
Who does that sound like? If we let Dwayne Haskins sit behind Alex Smith for another year, what quarterback comes to mind?
Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. I'm not saying Dwayne Haskins isn't going to be Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that's going to happen, but Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for 2 to 3 years. So who's to say Dwayne Haskins even, is out of the option? Yeah, we were saying that at first. We were like, oh, we were being fans jumping the gun saying that, they were over Dwayne Haskins. But Ken Zampese had his press conference the other day, and he sounds like he's not over Dwayne Haskins just yet. We don't know what Ron Rivera is thinking. Dwayne Haskins could be this quarterback next year, and sitting behind Alex Smith would be so much better. My bad. I've rambled. My fault.
You're good. So I'm going to say this real quick, and then we'll go ahead and do the stat predictions. My thing about Dwayne, I still think the guy has a lot of potential. I still think he can be a good quarterback in this league. But what I would say is I would personally either sign someone in free agency that you think can be your guy in the future for 5 years, or draft a guy and sit him behind Alex, like you said, so he can learn and stuff like that. If only way I keep Haskins or think about Haskins as our franchise quarterback, if he won, this is the biggest thing, if he shows you that he is, studying the right ways, everything from Monday to Saturday, he's doing those things right. And then on top of that, he looks amazing in training camp. He looks absolutely insane in training camp. Then I would consider having Dwayne as a backup. Or it really depends. It's hard to say, but I really think Ron just is done with Dwayne.
Well,
I don't think he wants to keep him. But we'll see. We can talk about it at the end of the stream, and then I'll read this. Haskins sat behind players in college and look how the college season ended for him. And now he has an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. He sat behind. Who did he? Who was it? Was it?
He sat behind, I believe it was JT Barrett, but King Sean and the BJ. I'm not saying that he's the guy, and I know he's not. Ron Rivera's possibly over him. I was just replying to someone comment that was saying that donated to Pedro and said that let Haskins sit. I was just replying to that comment. I wasn't saying that he's the guy still. I was just telling you guys why he possibly could. So I know we're most likely done with him, but I was just responding to the donation. But yeah, I think it was JT Barrett, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We'll see. Haskins still has potential again. Appreciate the donation. And I think with Haskins, whether it's here or in DC, he's gotta be behind a guy. So if it's, the Steelers, I think that would be a good fit behind Big Ben.
Colts.
Depends on the situation. DMV Sports Zone, appreciate the $2 donation. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Great Washington YouTuber, does NFL, NBA, all this stuff, does fantasy too. So make sure you guys check him out. So, real quick, let's go ahead and do our stat predictions for. Actually, first, go ahead and give me your score prediction real quick, and everyone as well, put them in the chat.
On my channel, I didn't do a stat or a score prediction because I said I felt like I always jinx it. But since it's not my channel, I'll do it. I'll probably say 34-28 Washington. And the only reason why I know a lot of people are going to look at me crazy and say 34, oh, we haven't scored over 30 points at all this year. But the reason why I say 34, actually, I think, honestly, I'm only going to say 34-28 Washington, but I think it's going to be higher than that. And that could either be us getting blown out or just it being a shootout. But Washington, in order for them to keep pace with the Bengals, they have to score over 30 points because this team, although it's 2-6, they can score. So we have to score with them. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to give us 34 points only because we have to get in a shootout. And I don't think this team is going to go down without a fight. But at the same time, I can see us getting blown out by 30. So somebody's going to leave here with over 30 points. And for the first time this year, why not give it to my boys?
Yeah, so I perfectly agree with you. My score prediction is different. It's just because of a certain kicker we have, Dustin Hopkins. Because, originally in my score prediction, I was going to say 30, I can't remember, 30-24. Washington, but I was like, I don't think Dustin Hopkins is making 3 field goals. So that's why I'm saying 27. But, I think it definitely could be. We could score over 30. This defense is not that good. And I think we could definitely score over 30 this game. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Iowa Stone Point, again, man, I appreciate the donation. It says 17-24. We won. Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of like the range. It's going to be, I don't think we're going to blow them out or anything because they score. They score points. Even against the Steelers, they scored 10 plus points. So I think we're definitely going to get some points, and hopefully our defense steps up. Hopefully our defense steps up, and close game. Hopefully we can win this game. And yeah, they're going to be in the 20s. We're going to be hopefully in the 30s, but might be in the 20s as well. So now, real quick, let's go on to our stat predictions for Alex Smith. So it's tough with Alex because this year he's been crazy. I mean, his passing yards has been crazy, and I think, and a lot of that's been because we've been getting killed in the well, King Sean, they scored only 10 points against the Steelers, but the Steelers' defense is one of the best in the NFL. And I'm sorry, I don't usually do this, but you said y'all got to do more research. The Bengals' offense is a good offense in the NFL. I'm sorry. Their offense is good. They've scored over 30 points a few times this year. Let me pull up.
They scored. They beat the Tennessee Titans, who has a top defense in the league, and they dropped 30 on them. So I mean, they're a good scoring offense. They have a great young-minded head coach in Zach Taylor, who's one of the offensive gurus in the league, or growing to be one in Zach Taylor's case.
So yeah, let me real quick. Sorry guys, but let me pull this up.
Fine.
So week 1, okay, 13 points against the Chargers. Week 2, 30 points. Week 3, 23. Week 4, 33. And then I think 27 against the Colts. Had a really bad game against the Ravens, but that's the Ravens. 34 against the Browns, 31 against the Titans, and sure, 10 against the 10 against the Steelers. But that's a historically good defense, and the Bengals offense is good, guys. Their offense is good. They get points, so don't just overlook that because of their record. Their offense is good. Now let's get in to our my prediction for Alex Smith. So I think, I don't want to go over 300. I really don't. But I really think he might have over 300 because of that offense. Because we might, who knows? Hopefully, we don't start out like we did the last couple games. Because if we're down 21-3 or 24-3 against the Bengals, that would be terrible. But I'm gonna go. I'll say 2 touchdowns. I'll give Alex 2 touchdowns. I'll say 20, 26 of 38.
Mm-hmm.
26 of 38 for 280 yards.
Yeah, I actually have the same thing. I said 280 for 1 touchdown and 32 for. I believe that we're gonna throw the ball a lot this game. So I think we're gonna go 1 touchdown, 280, 32 for 44. And that's gonna be a lot, guys, because I feel like we're gonna get into a shootout with these guys. Unfortunately, man, our defense, I'm hoping that we don't. And if we don't, I'm gonna be so happy. But this defense, from what we've seen in the past couple of weeks, this defense can't stop a nosebleed. So I think we're going to unfortunately get in a shootout with these guys, and hopefully it ends on the right foot for us this time. And I think he's going to throw the ball a lot, unfortunately, man. But I think he's going to go 280, 32 for 44. I believe that's what I said, and 1 touchdown. I think that we're going to dominate them on the ground finally, and a bulk of our points are going to come from running touchdowns.
Yeah, what's up, Redskins? Bay 12th man. Shout out him. Yeah, the thing is with what's his name, our defense, we really have to get to the quarterback because they've got some playmakers at that wide receiver position. I mean, you got T. Higgins he's on pace for over 1,000 yards. You got Tyler Boyd, he's on pace for 1,000 plus yards. And you still have AJ Green, who sure is not an absolute beast like he was, but he's still a decent receiver in the NFL, above average receiver in the NFL. And our safeties, our safeties are not so great. So we're going to see what happens. And, hopefully we can limit the big plays. That's what concerns me. Okay, so now we'll start with the receivers. What is your stat prediction for? Actually, I'll go first and then you go, and everyone put it in the chat too. Terry McLaurin. So there's some I don't want to say he's gonna have a bad game. I think he's gonna have a bad game for Terry McLaurin. I think not even a bad game. I think he's gonna have, let's say, 6 catches for 82 yards. Like, that's obviously not a bad game, but it's, Terry, he's been on fire, but I don't think he's going to have a huge game, and here's why. Their secondary is not good, but they got out of their cornerbacks, they got a really good corner, William Jackson, and he's been shutting down these players. He's been shutting down a lot of these wide receivers. So, and he lines up, half the time on where Terry's side is. So I think Terry might not have a huge game, but he's going to allow for other guys around him to have a good game. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think Terry's gonna have 92 yards on 8 receptions and 1 touchdown, maybe 2, but I'm gonna go 8 receptions, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown for Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. What's up, B9 Izzle? And what's up, Diesel the Dog? Appreciate the donation, man. Thanks for coming in. So how good is the Bengals line? That's a good question because they have, I think they've allowed 33 sacks. So that's second most allowed in the NFL.
Mm.
So I think but I think lately they haven't allowed many sacks, but their offensive line isn't great.
Yeah.
Uh, so again, appreciate the donation, man. Thanks for coming in, and yeah, hopefully our D line can eat or at least force some pressure. Now on to Cam Sims, and this is my bold prediction. This is my bold prediction of the week because, like I said, that guy he I think it's like the receivers that are lining up on the opposite of William Jackson have been like absolutely burning the secondary. So my bold prediction is that Cam Sims might end up getting more yards than Terry McLaurin. And I know that's bold, but I'm gonna say 6 catches for actually, Cam Sims. The thing with Cam is all of his catches, he gets a bunch of yards. So I'm gonna say 5 catches for 85 yards, and I think he might get a touchdown. So what's your prediction on that? On Cam
Yeah,
Sims?
I think Cam Sims. A lot of people are saying they still want to get a wide receiver in free agency, which I'm not opposed to. But Cam Sims have really, and slowly still growing into becoming the number 2 wide receiver here. And I really think that, like you said, with William Jackson most likely going to be shadowing Terry McLaurin for this whole game, I think Cam Sims will really have probably his best game by far, man. Cam Sims, and it's not even that he's more so just being dominant. It's just everything he is throwing his way, and that's been his big problem ever since we drafted him is that he doesn't show up in big moments. He drops passes, but everything he's been throwing his way, he's been catching. I know you guys remember, I believe that was the 4th down conversion, I believe, for last week to keep the game alive, where he made that contested catch for the first down. And it's just like Cam Sims is finally slowly going into that second role. So honestly, I won't be surprised, like you said, if he gets a touchdown. This could possibly be his best game of his career.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a big game. What's up, big boy, diehard fan?
Said Cam
Walker.
Sims is garbage.
What's up, Dominic? What's up, Adam? What's up, Valor? What's up, James? Yeah, what is up, Eric? What is up, everyone? So now let's go to Isaiah Wright. If he plays, I think he's also gonna have a big game. I'll go ahead and say, okay. So I mean, the thing is, I kind of have to add up to what I did, um, what I said with Alex Smith's 280, but I'm gonna give Isaiah Wright. I'll give him. I want to go more, but just because I put Alex Smith at 280, I'm gonna say he has 6 catches for 45 yards. 6 catches for 45 yards, or maybe 5 catches for 45.
Yeah, I didn't say that Cam Sims is gonna be the wide receiver too. I say he's slowly emerging to
He has
become.
potential to be.
Yeah, he's
You can't.
I was talking to DMV Sports on my bad, but go ahead.
No, yeah, I saw that too. And the thing is, you can't say someone isn't you can't say someone isn't a certain player because you gotta give the guy time. Cam Sims really hasn't gotten a big chance in this league before, and now he is, and he's taking advantage of it. And sure, he might end up being a rotational receiver or below average starting receiver in this league, but he also could end up being a wide receiver number 2. So I think you gotta give him time before you say he's a wide receiver 3 at best. Give him some time and see what he can do. Maybe he ends up being that wide receiver 2, and maybe he does end up being that wide receiver 3.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, wait, what did you say? Your Isaiah Wright prediction?
Oh no, no, yeah, I was waiting for you to go ahead. But Isaiah Wright, honestly, if he plays, I don't see him having that big game. I see him probably having 3 catches, but I see him having his bulk of his yards on reverses and screens because that's what he really gets his bulk of yards from is gadget plays.
Yeah. So now let's go. Let's say, okay, we'll go ahead and do Logan Thomas. I'll go quick. He's played okay with Alex Smith as a quarterback. I'll go ahead and say 5 catches for 50 yards, 46 yards.
I think honestly, Logan Thomas is going to have his best game of his season, and I know I already said that about Cam Sims. But if Cam Sims doesn't, I think this is more realistic because if you look at the stats for the Bengals, they've allowed the most receptions to and yards to tight ends this season, and Logan Thomas has been really solid for Alex Smith this year. And honestly, I really like bringing him back next year for wide receiver or tight end too, if we can find one in free agency and even the draft. But if we can't, I'll be fine with rolling with Logan Thomas at wide receiver, or excuse me, tight end one again. But I'm really hoping that we can find, another guy. But if we can't, hey, we're fine, honestly. Or I say we'll be okay. Because Logan Thomas is finally, getting a little comfortable as a tight end, and he's been really solid for us, man. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to be this solid, but he really has been. And I think he's going to have his biggest game only because the Bengals have allowed so much yards and receptions to tight ends this year. I think that he'll probably have 11 catches for maybe 72 yards and
Yep.
possibly a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Appreciate the donation. Iowa Stone Point. Yep, these players ain't Terry. Also, Cam Sims commented on my Insta post. Now, yeah, Cam Sims, he's really nice. Like Cam Sims, I'm just happy that he succeeded because it shows like that the hard work of him grinding on special teams, paid off, and he's been a beast again. Appreciate that donation. Go ahead and check out Iowa Stone Point. I assume that's your at right there on Insta. And kind of what you said is that I think that, keeping I would not be opposed, like you said, if we can't get a guy in free agency that's better than Logan Thomas, and that might be a little bit hard. There's not to get someone better than Logan Thomas, but like realistically, you don't really want to pay Hunter Henry, whatever he's going to get, $12+ million a year. That's what I'm thinking. But I would not be opposed. Let's say you draft a tight end in the third, fourth round, sitting him a little bit behind, Logan Thomas and developing him, and maybe Logan Thomas is a tight end one for the half of the season. The other guy is the tight end one at the end of the season. Thanks for coming, B9 Isle, and appreciate AM Hunter always coming in here. AM Hunter's the man. Always see him in everyone's streams. Thanks for coming in here again. And being a channel member again. So, yeah, Adam, can you repeat what your idea was that you said? So, yeah, Logan Thomas, we'll see what he does. And real quick, let's go ahead and do Gibson and McKissick. And these guys are the hardest guys to predict. I would say Gibson more so than McKissick. Just what's up, Philip B? Just because, it really depends on how many carries Gibson gets. So I'll go ahead and say Gibson gets 14 carries. 14 carries for 14 carries for that's hard. I'm going to just say, so I'm trying to do the math. 14 carries for 64 yards, and I think he does get a touchdown.
Yeah, it's crazy how all of our predictions have really been so similar. I said the same thing. I actually said Antonio Gibson for, I believe, 13 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown, only because they're going to be split in time, which I'm totally fine with, honestly, because J.D. McKissick hasn't been too shabby himself. Hopefully, Alex Smith can hit him in the hands.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with what you said, Adam. So, yeah, I think – and yeah, we'll see what he does in the pass game. What's so interesting is we still haven't had a running back get a receiving touchdown this year. So I hope, and it's crazy because both of our running backs are good pass catching running backs. So hopefully that changes. And McKissick almost last week got it, and his foot was out of bounds, but it looked like he was getting in. 1,000 sub with no video said Terry McLaurin gets 117 yards. I mean, he definitely could.
I hope so.
You go ahead.
No, I was just saying I hope so.
Yeah. And then I'll go to McKissick now. So McKissick, I'll say he gets 6 carries for 31 yards, and I think he gets 7 catches for 51 yards, and I don't think he gets a touchdown.
JD McKissick, I think I'll go 42 yards for 5 receptions, but his 5 receptions are big gains, and that being long runs, yards after catches, or big third down conversions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll see what he does. So now let's go to what is that? I think we did everyone on offense, right? I mean, Cam Sims, Isaiah Wright, Alex Smith. Real quick on defense, all we'll say, let's go ahead and give us a sack prediction. So I kind of went through the numbers. The Joe Burrow got sacked 4 times last week against the Steelers. That's a lot, but again, that's the Steelers, one of the best the best D line in all of football. So go ahead and give your score prediction, Juan. I'm still trying to look here.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
So
Sack.
for the sacks,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 2. And I know everybody's about to be quick to jump on me in the comment section. I already know they are, but the defense has been underwhelming ever since coming out of the bye. So I'm gonna just say 2, only because I just don't see. I'm hoping and I believe that they might get more than 2, as my boy King Sean said. Say believe instead of hope. I believe they might get more than 2. But I'm going to just be realistic and say 2, because this defensive line and defense in general has been underwhelming ever since coming out of the bye.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in that same range. And let's read some of the comments. Am Hunter said Gibson and JD should go wild this game. Yeah, I think so as well. Let's read. Infinite said 24-20. I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna say 3, maybe 4. I'm the only reason I'm saying 3 instead of 4, and I'm in the middle between the two, is because we really haven't gotten to the quarterback ever since that Dallas game, like Ron said. So, yeah, I'm in the middle on that one, but hopefully Chase has that bounce back game. I don't know if you guys saw that article today that the Washington Post posted, but that was just absolutely awful.
What they
They were like, Chase Young is a bust. They were like, Chase Young isn't a bust yet, but it was bad. It was bad, but yeah, I wouldn't even worry about reading it. But yeah, hopefully Chase Young gets a sack. Montez, both of them have been a little bit, not underwhelming, but the last couple weeks they haven't been able to get to the quarterback. So hopefully they change that and get a couple sacks, and maybe we'll see about Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, all these boys. So what was I gonna say? And yeah, hopefully we get this win, guys, because if we do, I think we're right back in it. Real quick, someone asked this question. I'm not sure who did. Okay. BJ DeGoat said, who do you think's going to make the Pro Bowl on this team? So I'll go first. I think Terry. I really, really hope Terry makes the Pro Bowl, because if he doesn't, that would be really, really bad. I'm going to say, this is tough. Hope Kendall Fuller gets in. I don't know if he's going to get in, just because, again, it's fan voting. I really think Chase or Montez is going to get in, and maybe the sack numbers aren't there, but the thing about Chase is people that are not Washington fans as well, they're going to vote him in, because they know he's a good player and he was so hyped up coming out of college that they're going to see his name up there and they're going to vote for him. So I think Chase makes it. I think, or at least one defensive lineman makes it. I think Terry will make it. And I think maybe Brandon Sheriff or Morgan Moses, just because Sheriff almost always gets in as an alternate or as the starter. So I think those kind of guys. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll also combine because they had a question. They were saying, "What do we think about the name change or the name situation?" I'll also answer that too. But Pro Bowlers, I think that it'll be Tressway. I hope he gets the start. I don't know if he gets the start because we have a certain punter in LA who gets on my nerves because everyone hypes him up, but they don't show Tressway no love. Tressway does what he does in his sleep. But Tressway, I'm hoping he gets the starting role, but I don't know because they don't show him no love. Although he is, in my opinion, the best punter in all of football. I'm thinking Tressway. I'm thinking Chase Young because although the stats doesn't show, everyone knows who Chase Young is, and they're gonna vote him in, similar to the defensive rookie of the year
Yeah.
voting. He hasn't played so good to the point where he is the defined rookie of the year, but I think he's going to get it because he's been so hyped up about getting it. And also, I think Terry McLaurin is going to get in just because his stats shows it. A lot of people still disrespect Terry McLaurin, but I think that his stats shows it. And my bold one is Morgan Moses. In my opinion, I don't think it's that bold, but a lot of people don't know who Morgan Moses is. But I think Morgan Moses is going to make it to the Pro Bowl, hopefully, because this guy is having a heck of a season, probably his best as a pro. And being asked to switch to left tackle in mid-season is not tough to do.
Yeah, and the
Or
only thing about Morgan is that it's because I don't think the Pro Bowl is, I don't think it's like left tackle and right tackle. Um, it's just tackle, and most people recognize the left tackles as the dominant guys. So that's why he might not get voted in. But I really, really hope he does. And again, iOS Stone Point with another donation. They said the Washington football team is definitely in the running as the name. And yeah, I mean,
with that.
a lot of people don't like it. Again, appreciate the donation. Go ahead and check out iOS Stone Point on Instagram. But I mean, what's your take on the name? What's your take?
At first, when we first changed, I was like the Washington football team. Wow! But now, after almost having a full season with the name, I'm totally fine with it. At this point, the name is the least of my worries. Whether we're the Redskins, the Washington football team, the Red Wolves, the I don't know anything. I don't really care what we are anymore at this point. I'm fine with the Washington football team name being permanent.
Yeah, my take on it, it's like, I'd probably rather not have it the Washington football team name. But I just really don't want it to be, if you're gonna change the name, please, please do it this off season. And I know that's probably not gonna happen, but for me, it's just too tough. The transition from calling them the Redskins to the Washington football team, and I am almost, it's since I say it so much, Washington football team, I'm almost all the way used to it. But if you have me calling the Washington football team this team for 2+ seasons, and then you change it again, I really think that's too much. That's too much transition. So I would say, please, please, please do it this off season if you're gonna change it to whatever you got. But the Washington football team Washington football team isn't my favorite name. But I'm fine with it. I actually got the Washington football team shirt
Yeah.
on right now, but I'm all right with it. Not the best name, but I'm the name is the least of my worries at this point. Win, win, win. That's the biggest thing in my opinion. And um, if we get the Red Wolves, Warriors, whatever, that's cool. But Washington football team, we'll see. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, everyone, go ahead and say, let's go. Let's go ahead and say, well, I mean, Xavier, I get what you're saying that we're too young and don't understand tradition, but like for me, it's just I don't know about us changing again. I don't like that rebranding 3 times in a row. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I love the name Redskins. Absolutely loved it. It was a part, we had that name since 1932, a long time. But I mean, They changed it, and I'm, okay with this name. I'm not ecstatic about this name. I don't really think anyone is, but I'm okay with it. And at a certain point, if you're really calling them a Washington football team, it's almost like you never really changed the Redskins name because you really never changed it to a new name. The Washington football team is almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I'm going to say right there. And real quick, we'll go ahead and what what guy do you want us to draft in this first round? I'll give you a range of where we're picking. I'll say 4 to 9. 4 to 9. I'll give you that.
4 to 9. Yeah. Let's just say Trevor Lawrence obviously goes one if he comes out, which most likely he will. Let's say Justin Fields goes two. Then I'll take Trey Lance. That's tough. I don't know because I don't. Trey Lance is cool, but he's very accurate at times. And he rarely lost. He rarely loses. So I'm yet to see how he copes with a loss. How does he bounce back from an interception? How does he bounce back from a loss? You know what I'm saying? I'm yet to see that. Basically what I'm saying is I'm yet to see him face animosity, and I'm yet to see him face turmoil. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm gonna go with the guy from BYU. Maybe I don't know if that's a stretch. I feel like that's tough, man.
Yeah, the thing with me is the only guy I'm really comfortable taking, or two guys obviously, but only really guy I'm comfortable with taking in the top four is Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. And obviously things could change. Things could change with Zach Wilson if he continues to be an absolute beast. And I haven't watched his film, so I can't really say and nitpick at things, but we'll see about that. But that's the only two guys I'm comfortable taking in the top four is Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. So if you're at 3 and Justin Fields just got taken, then I would not be opposed to maybe trade back to a 5th or 6th spot, get another second round pick, and take the quarterback that doesn't get taken. So if Trevor Lawrence gets taken, or not Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance gets taken, then you can go ahead and take the other guy, whoever doesn't get taken. That's my take on it. Build some draft picks, and if it isn't a quarterback, I would like to go after either a receiver, maybe a linebacker. I like Jamar Chase, Smith from Alabama, Jalen Waddle from Alabama, maybe Micah Parsons. What non-quarterback position do you like? And everyone in the chat, go ahead and put your player too.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Jamar Chase. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But if it's non-quarterback, I'm going either Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons as my draft pick because, like Chris Cooley said, we're one linebacker away from having a complete defense. I don't know how true that reigns, but I'm taking either Micah Parsons or Jamar Chase. But if it is a quarterback, like you said, I'm trading back because I feel Trey Lance and Zach Wilson have a good chance of being there within the top 10. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we're going to trade back that far, but I feel as though that they might fall. That's not even falling, in my opinion. I feel like that they're going to be there. I don't think they're going to go as early as a lot of people expect them to because a lot of teams don't need a quarterback. Maybe the Broncos, but at the same time, they still might not, give up on Drew Lock. So it's not a lot of teams that need a lot of quarterbacks. So I think that Zach Wilson and Trey Lance might, still be available within the 9 or 7 to 10 range. So why not trade back there, then draft either one of them if Justin Fields isn't there at 3 or 4, and then possibly get more picks. But if we don't draft a quarterback in the first round, I'm taking either Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I think it also. Let's see. Christian said Trask is. I mean, Trask is good too. And also if Penny Sewell is there, because he's probably the best non-quarterback on this in this draft class. If he's there where we're drafting, which I highly doubt he is, I would consider drafting him as well. Iowa Stone Point said Dustin Hopkins, 2021 Pro Bowl. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Dustin Hopkins. But yeah, let's see. Anything? Let's see. Um, Xavier Hall said hi to Juan. Um, yeah, I appreciate everyone coming in and supporting. So yeah, we'll see
Oh,
with the draft. It's gonna be interesting to see how it, you know, plays out. We'll see if we get anyone in free agency. I'm starting to think I'm starting to think that we're gonna get a quarterback in the draft though. That's my take. What do you think?
you said we're going to take a quarterback?
I think we're gonna end up taking a quarterback in the draft instead of in free agency. It depends. It doesn't need to be first round. It could be second round. It could be third. But I
Yeah,
think it's gonna.
that's what I was thinking. I'm saying, yeah, we're most likely going to take a quarterback this draft, but if not, don't hang your head on it, guys. 'Cause I would not be surprised if we don't take a quarterback in the draft this year. But I think we're going to take one probably in the second round. First round, I'm thinking we're going to go more and specifically for a linebacker or left tackle or even in fact a wide receiver for Alex Smith. Because I'm telling you guys, Alex Smith might be this quarterback for the next 2 years and let Dwayne Haskins sit, or the guy we draft in the second or third round to be the guy and sit behind Alex Smith.
Yeah, we'll see. Um, we'll see what happens with. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Alex Smith because I mean, if he continues to be this good that be as good as he's been these last couple of weeks, especially last week, then I could definitely see I could see him being that bridge quarterback maybe for a few weeks, maybe even half a season like he did, or for the full season like he did with Patrick Mahomes, but it might be less depending on the guy. I think Fields would be good right away to start, but maybe Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, they need a little bit more time. Um, and yeah, Chris Olave, like you guys said, he's an absolute beast. I love him. Let's Kyle Trask is not overrated. Is a guy's name. Trade Dwayne, keep Allen and Smith. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen in my opinion. Um, let's see. Okay, let's any more questions you guys have? I'll stay here for a few more minutes
Yeah.
and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, I mean, we need to improve the offensive line as well. I think it's coming along though. It's definitely played better than expected. And I mean, Sadiq Charleston, I think Sadiq is going to be a beast. He just got to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing with Sadiq. I think he can, hold down at left tackle or left guard position. We got Morgan at right tackle. He's been a beast. We'll see about Sheriff and Roulier, and we also got Keith Ismail. I'm going to be interested to see if he plays at all this year because, we drafted him in the 5th round. So we'll see. Yeah, 1,000 subs. I've seen that. I'm not sure why it does that, but that's not me or anyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me go and make sure you guys go ahead and check out Juan. Check out his channel, post Washington football content all the time. Make sure you guys check his channel out. And you are streaming the game tomorrow, right? Or your reaction, right? Play by play.
Yeah. Yeah, I stream like I said, I stream every week, every game. So make sure you guys come chill with me if you can. They want us to do a live game stream too. A lot of people been asking me every week to do one like the Giants YouTubers do. But I said I'm down. But I know a lot of fans like to grieve in peace because this team doesn't give us a lot to cheer for. So a lot of people want to watch it in peace. But if Pedro wants to come on, he can. But if not, let them watch the game in peace because a lot of people have been asking me every stream but like I said, man, I'm down. But if not, a lot of fans want to grieve in peace. And notice I say grieve because we lose a lot. So
I don't think I could ever. That's why I don't stream these games. I don't think I I just get in a totally different world in the game, and I just get way too pissed off to be on camera. And that's just me. It depends on the situation as well. I mean, the last week of the season last year, I was a lot more chill. I mean, I wasn't really invested in the game. I was more invested in how the players were playing. But yeah, maybe we'll see if we're playing insignificant games in December. where I'm more cheering for the players than the team, then I'll go ahead and join one. Again, appreciate the donation again, Iowa Stone Point. Thank you so much. And yeah, I might. We'll see. We'll see. Um, appreciate everyone for coming in here, and again, appreciate Juan for coming in here.
Of
Make
course.
sure you guys check him out. And yeah, I might go live with him for a game this year. We'll see. And yeah, appreciate everyone for coming in. Like I said, make sure you guys check out his channel. Appreciate the support today. Anything you got to say, Juan?
Thank you guys for watching us, man, and thank you guys for tuning into us. We're both young guys, doing our thing, supporting this team in the DC area. So thank you guys for watching me and Pedro. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate Juan coming on. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Like I said, I'll put the link in again. And appreciate everyone for coming in here. So much support today from everyone. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it a lot. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow I come in with a victory video, not another rant video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the stream, and peace.